You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Friday, June 26th. Let's look at what this means for startups and entrepreneurs in Korea. Because in this AI boom, having a brilliant model just isn't enough anymore, right? We're doing a deep dive today into how you actually capture value through team structure, pricing, and supply contracts.
Yeah, exactly. It's about taking AI out of the lab and, putting it straight under the balance sheet.
Right, and Krafton is a perfect example of reorganizing for exactly that. They just completely split their new AI frontier division away from their core research unit. And they're backing this new commercial team with $100 billion, so roughly $65 million NVIDIA GPU cluster.
Which is huge. I mean, they are structurally separating pure scientific discovery from the ruthless mechanics of commercializing a product.
Right.
It's like separating the inventors in the lab from the merchants in the store. You need totally different metrics and people for shipping versus inventing.
Yeah, which is a distinction early-stage founders blur all the time. You naturally want your genius researchers shipping the product. But once you do manage to ship it, you have to figure out how to structure your revenue. Adobe gave us a fascinating benchmark here, lowering their ARR targets, their annual recurring revenue, by $500 million.
Just to expand their free trials, yeah.
Yeah.
They are explicitly trading immediate cash for a massive top-of-funnel user grab. But founders listening, you have to recognize that this land grab is a financing decision. It's only possible because Adobe sits on this massive fortress of operating cash flow.
Right. You can't mimic that B2C luxury without the runway. And if you're selling B2B, giving things away for free doesn't really work. You have to prove your AI isn't just a black box, which Hyundai Card just did. Landing Universe, their in-house AI platform inside Japan's SMCC.
It's a brilliant playbook for taking a B2B product global. They built two distinct moats. First, a 2-year financial commitment to localization in Japan, which is a notoriously cash-heavy, relationship-driven market. And the second moat is explainability.
Wait, explainability gets thrown around so much. How did they actually prove that to a conservative Japanese financial institution?
Well, instead of just saying, hey, this user will churn, Universe actually showed its math. It was so transparent about its logic that SMCC staff literally rewrote their internal work rules to prioritize the AI's suggestions. They bought trust.
Wow, showing your math actually earns the enterprise contract. But if Hyundai Card is winning at the application layer, the public markets seem obsessed with the infrastructure layer. Lemon Healthcare is gearing up for its IPO on KOSDAQ, that's Korea's tech-heavy exchange.
And the demand signals there are just staggering.
Yeah, totally. They pulled in 3.78 trillion won, which is about $2.45 billion in subscription deposits. That's Jungryumim, the refundable margin retail investors put down to signal demand. The shares are priced at 10,000 won, or 6.50. But my pushback here are application startups already losing the AI race to infrastructure platforms.
The short answer is yes. The market is explicitly rewarding picks and shovels medical data rails over flashy health apps. Without secure, standardized data rails, those shiny medical AI models can't ingest anything useful.
And since infrastructure is where the value is pooling, the exit market for deep tech founders is getting incredibly aggressive. Like, Samsung and SK Hynix are actively hiring deal makers from McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. They're building strike teams for what they call tweezers M&A.
Yeah, plucking up highly targeted firms like Element for 270 billion won, or about $175 million. And you have to look at the fuel behind this. Guide, a Korean financial data provider, estimates 2,320 trillion won, roughly $1.5 trillion, in combined profits for them between 2026 and 2028.
That strategic acquirer pool just got immensely deep and very hungry. But all this infrastructure scaling ultimately hits a hardware bottleneck, right? Which brings us to Micron. They just locked in 16 take-or-pay strategic customer agreements, or SCAs. We're talking a $100 billion backlog with $22 billion paid upfront.
It is the ultimate flex of pricing power. Take or pay means you pay whether you take delivery of the chips or not. So every founder listening has to ask themselves a hard question. Does your product sit on a steep enough supply curve to demand multi-year upfront cash?
Right. That's the absolute dream position for a startup.
Exactly. And the really provocative thing to mull over here, watch whether Micron's ability to weaponize memory scarcity pulls giants like Samsung and SK Hynix into similar take-or-pass structures.
That's today's AI Prism, Founders. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a Juan Ifra award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
#CoPI, #founders, #startups, #venture capital.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.